Hello, I'm going to talk about something today that might make some people uncomfortable. So this is a little warning. This video is going to contain talk about periods. I feel that we don't talk about them enough, and too many people are embarrassed by it, men and women. Men are embarrassed to talk to women about it, and women are embarrassed to talk to men about it, and some women are embarrassed to talk to anyone about it. So this is your little warning. This video is going to contain some talk about periods. So if you're uncomfortable with that, please just turn off now. And I'm going to give you a few little seconds to do that. I'm going to sing you a song. If you are offended by periods or are uncomfortable, then please click out the video. I will not be offended. Yeah. Okay, that's good enough. So anyone that would be uncomfortable is probably left by now. So I'm going to talk to you about periods, and what I'm hoping with this video is it will be two things. One, slightly educational, so especially young girls that are on YouTube that have either just started their periods or just learnt about periods at school, can find out a little bit more information and be a bit more prepared. And two, just to hopefully get people to be a bit more open with it, because a lot of people are embarrassed and ashamed, and it's nothing to be either of those things about. It's perfectly natural, perfectly normal, and it's a good way actually to know what's going on with your body. So I've just brought up a page from the NHS website, and basically I didn't know quite how to word what a period is in ways that would be sort of educational, because to me it's just the time of the month where you bleed. So this is what the NHS says. NHS, for anyone that doesn't know, is National Health Service in England. So it's to do with your menstrual cycle, and the menstrual cycle is controlled by hormones. In each cycle, rising levels of estrogen cause the ovary to develop an egg and release it, that process is called ovulation. The womb lining also starts to thicken. After ovulation, some girls, by the way, will get signs that they've ovulated. Some girls get pain in their side. Some get cramps. Well, that's basically pain in your side. Similar to premenstrual symptoms, so aches, pains, that sort of stuff. Some girls will get that with ovulation as well. And the womb lining also starts to thicken. After ovulation, the hormone progesterone helps the womb lining grow thicker, ready for pregnancy. The egg travels down the fallopian tubes. They're basically two tubes attached to ovaries. Probably best to Google a diagram of that if you've not learnt that in school, because I can't draw and I don't really know how else to explain it. If pregnancy doesn't occur, the egg is absorbed into the body. Levels of estrogen and progesterone fall, and the womb lining comes away and leaves the body as a period, which is also known as the menstrual flow. There are a few sort of slang names for it, like Painter's In, TOTM, Shark Week, I've heard people in America call it. There's a lot of different things you can call it. The time from the release of an egg to the start of a period is about 10 to 16 days. What are periods? Well, periods are made up of blood and the womb lining. The first day of a woman's period is day 1 of the menstrual cycle. Periods can last a variety of days. The most common is 3 to 7 days. And you don't lose as much blood as you think. You only lose about 5 tablespoons of blood, but it looks a lot more because it's water and stuff as well, and blood and whatever, and gunk. And some women do bleed heavier, but if your heavy flow is affecting your life, please go see your doctor. I'm not going to explain ovulation to you because that's a totally different thing to the actual period, as it's different. Basically, ovulation is the release of an egg from the ovaries. A woman is born with all her eggs, and once she starts her periods, one egg, sometimes two, develops and is released during each menstrual cycle. So basically, yeah, once the egg is released, if it doesn't get fertilised by sperm, then it will come out in the form of a period. I'm not going to go into fertile times and stuff like that because it's got that information on here. But that's basically what a period is. So for a few days each month, some girls and women will find that they will be around the same time every month, but some will find that the time of their period will vary. As you get older, it does tend to regulate itself. So once you first start, it may be a bit all over the place, which is why I would suggest keeping a sanitary item in your bag at all times. I'm going to get into this soon. But yeah, so there are apps that can help you. I use 2 apps. I'm just going to plug my phone in a minute. So there are apps that can help you track your periods and your symptoms. There are 2 that I use. One is called PinkPad Pro, and that's just my profile on that. And basically with PinkPad Pro, you've got this little menu, and this is not the best way to show it, but otherwise I would have to film it on my phone and then I wouldn't be able to show you anyway. So basically you've got this menu, and on the menu it's got the flow, spotting, which can occur a couple of days before or a couple of days after your period, where it's just sort of little tiny bits of blood, not a full-on flow. If you've been intimate, so if you've had sex with anyone, you can click a little button. It's got a thing to track your mood, and there's like emoji faces that you can click on. Symptoms, so the symptoms include acne, anxiety, backache, bloating, breast tenderness, chills, constipation, cramps, cravings, diarrhea, dizziness, fatigue, headaches, hot flashes, insomnia, irritability, migraine, moody, and nausea. It's got fertility if you're tracking that. Some people use these apps also to track fertility if they're trying to get pregnant, but you do not have to. I don't use that bit. But on that bit, it's got like, have you ovulated today? Do you have cervical mucus? Position of your cervix. Firmness, opening, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, you can also on PinkPad track your weight and your body temperature, and there's a little bit where you can write notes. Also on PinkPad there is a forum system where you can click on various forums and ask questions, respond to people. There's a lot of different groups. So there's menstrual health, PMS support, birth control, wellness, women's health, natural health, mental health, and then there's some other stuff like adult relationships, divorce and breakups, marriage support, general support, fertility groups, fitness groups, special interest groups, and groups for health conditions as well. So that's PinkPad. And also another thing that PinkPad does is it has a calendar, and you can write all your information. I really wish it would show up better. Like, basically you get a calendar and you can write all your information in the calendar. And with PinkPad, it will have moons to signal when you're due, according to this app, based on previous information you've put in. So it won't always be right when you first use it. And flowers for various stages of your fertility, ovulation, etc., etc. But that is an estimate. And another one I use is called Clue. I'm just loading it up now. It's called Clue. I do not use these apps as much as I should. But you see you've got a circle here, and then it says enter today's data. So on Clue, if you click that, then you get all these options. Clue is a lot more scientific than PinkPad, I think. Well, it feels a lot more scientific because you don't have the forum, you don't have any of that stuff, and it's got more options. So on Clue, you've got options you can put in for the heaviness of your flow, if you had pain, cramps, headache, ovulation, tender breasts, your emotions. The emotions, there aren't as many options, but You only get 4 options for each thing. But, you know, Pink Pad does feel a little less, like Clue feels a lot more serious than Pink Pad, I should say. The other things you can put in are the amount of sleep you got, if you had sex, the fluid, so your discharge basically, because that can be an indicator of if you're due on anytime soon, what you used to collect your flow or discharge or anything like that. So they've got tampon, pad, panty liner and menstrual cup. Cravings you've had, digestion, skin, so if you've got acne, if your skin's dry, good, oily, energy, so energized, high, low, exhausted sort of thing, motivation, appointment, so OB-GYN, which is like gynecologist, vacation, doctor, or on a date. I don't know what a date's got to do with anything. Then you can put your own things in tags. There's mental, social, party, so if you've had drinks, if you've had cigarettes, if you're hungover, or if you had a big night. Ailment, so fever, cold, flu, allergy, injury, but you could put information for that in the extra tags. And if you've had to take any medication, so pain medication, cold, flu medication, antibiotic or antihistamine. So there are other apps as well, but they're just the 2 that I've had that I found most easy basically to use. So if you're starting out, or if you are in a relationship and want to track your periods because you don't want to have children, or just because you feel like tracking your periods anyway, they are 2 good apps to have, because these are things we can do now. We can track our periods on our phones. So some people will experience premenstrual tension, headaches, cramps, backache, moodiness, spots, tender breasts. There are a lot of different things. As you have more periods, you will learn what your signs are. So for me, typically tends to be emotional and cramps. And some people don't get anything at all. I never used to get anything, and as I've got older, I've started to get cramps and stuff like that, so oh well. And some people are the opposite. Some people suffer really bad when they start, and then as they get older it gets fine, so you know. Or you could just be consistent throughout your whole life. But yeah. So you will eventually learn what your indicators are. So if you don't have an app, you'll become in tune with your body, and you'll sort of realise when it's coming to that sort of time anyway. So I think the app, especially if you're starting out, is really good. I wish these things had existed when I was like 12, 13 years old. Even as far as like 16, 17. Because I've been in a few awkward situations. Like there was a time I did a college course and I came on a week early. I had nothing in my bag, no protection or anything, and no sanitary towels, nothing like that. And so I bled through my brand new jeans, and I had to wrap my coat around me and say to my male tutor, "I'm really sorry, but I need to go home." When he said why, I just explained. I wasn't embarrassed because it's a perfectly natural thing. So I just went, "I'm really sorry, my period's come on early and I need to go home and change." And he was completely fine with it because, like I said, perfectly natural. No need to be embarrassed about it. And actually it's a good sign of if you're healthy or not, because once you get used to your periods, if they're heavier than normal or lighter than normal, or even a different colour to normal, you can kind of get attuned something's going wrong, and then you can go and book an appointment with your doctor. So once you realise what's normal for you, if that changes, it can be a sign of other things. So it's nothing to be embarrassed about. So please, if you're ever at school or anything, and like this wasn't like in a proper college, it was a course elsewhere, so we didn't have like multiple offices or anything, or a nurse's office or anything for me to go and get a pad and some like lost property clothes from. But schools tend to have lost property, and most schools have nurse's office, and most nurse's office I think have pads and tampons available for emergencies like that. So if you are at school and you do come on and you're too uncomfortable to ask a friend for something, then just go to your nurse and ask if she's got any pads or anything. I would recommend pads to start with, especially in an emergency situation. It's good to have a little kit for schools and college, a little period kit. What I would put in that, like in a makeup case or something, just a few pads, a change of underwear, maybe some wet wipes or something, just to clean up if you've had an accident. If you've leaked out your pad or something, just a little wet wipe to clean up down there. Because toilet tissue is great for wiping after you've peed, but it doesn't really make you feel fresh. So just to clean up any spills, basically. But I would suggest having something like that at school. So there are various options you can use for your protection during your period. I've got two that I'm going to show you now, but there are other options. So the options that I don't have to hand are tampons and menstrual cups, and there are also things called sea sponges and reusable tampons. Tampons are disposable. Most come with an applicator. You insert them inside your vagina and they collect the blood, they absorb it all, and then they've got a little string attached and you just pull them out by the string. Lots of people find this easier. You can go swimming with a tampon in. You can feel more confident doing sports and stuff like that, but it does take a while to get used to getting it in the right position. Same with menstrual cups. Menstrual cups are to describe them to you, I would say they look like a funnel, but without the hole at the bottom. So imagine you've got a funnel, it's got like the bowl sort of top, and it goes down in sort of a triangle shape. It's a bit like that, but obviously it's completely enclosed, and what you do is you fold that in certain folds, and like a tampon you insert it, but they don't come with applicators or anything, and they're reusable, so they're good for the environment, and a lot of people use these for swimming and stuff as well because it collects the blood inside you. The difference between menstrual cups and tampons are tampons absorb, menstrual cups collect. So cups collect, the blood goes inside of the cup, and once you take the cup out you empty it into the toilet and wash it out, and then you just reinsert it. Reusable tampons I've not seen many around, but I know they exist, and they tend to be crocheted, and what you tend to do with them is you roll them up and they have a little bit of thread as a tampon string. You roll them up into a tampon shape and insert them. Some people use old tampon applicators to help them insert reusable tampons, but I have no experience with those, so I don't know what they're like basically. And the other two options are pads. So you've got disposable pads like this. They come in noisy packaging, and what you do is just open them up. Trouble is, everyone knows what you're doing then, and I know quite a few people that makes them uncomfortable. So this is what a disposable pad looks like. You've got a adhesive on the wings here, they're adhesive on the back, and what you do with these is you stick them to the inside of your underwear, and you wear it inside your underwear, and your blood just collects on this, it absorbs inside it, and you change them every few hours. This one has memory foam, so it absorbs 10 times its weight, and it's really squidgy. But yeah, you can get different absorbencies with pads just like you can with tampons. Menstrual cups come in two sizes, A and B I think it is, but pads and tampons come in like light flow, heavy flow, medium flow, super heavy, and nighttime. Well, I don't know if tampons come in nighttime, but I don't think they do, but pads definitely come in nighttime. And the other option you have is reusable pads, normally kept in a bag like this. And the good thing about reusable pads is, as with disposables, you can get different absorbencies, but you can also get different patterns. So for example, this is a postpartum, so you would use this after having a baby or for a very heavy flow, and I think this is just a heavy flow. And the good thing about reusable pads is you can get different fabrics, different absorbencies, and different patterns. So they're cool and fun as well. And with these, you just pop them in the washing machine. I've done a video on cloth pads before, and you just literally use them, same as a normal pad, a disposable pad. You pop them in your underwear, and instead of adhesive, they have poppers, and you just pop the wings together like that in your underwear. So you'd wear it in your underwear like that, and once you want to take them off, to change it, just unhook it, unpop it, fold it up, put it in your wet bag or your bucket or whatever it is you store them in, and then wash them at the end, and just wash them with no fabric softener. But again, I've done a video on reusable pads, so if you're interested in the idea of that, there's a video on my channel to do with reusable pads, reusable sanitary products. I'm hoping that's all the information that you need, really. Yeah, I just think we're all too embarrassed to talk about these things, and it's perfectly natural, it's perfectly normal, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Especially, I think we're all especially a bit embarrassed to talk to men about it. Please don't be. If you know you need to, just blurt it out. But it's perfectly natural, people understand, it's normal. Don't be ashamed and don't be embarrassed. It's like, if you do come on and you don't expect it, don't be too embarrassed to ask a friend or a teacher or whatever if they have something you can borrow, or not borrow, use. I don't really want to borrow that and give it back. But don't be too embarrassed, because it's easier to ask for help than to walk around in soggy underwear all day, basically. So yeah, I hope this has given you enough information. I hope this has been as helpful as I intended it to be. If there's anything that you want to know, particularly about reusable products, because that is what I like. I don't like, for me personally, I do a mixture between reusable and disposables at the minute, because I don't have enough reusable pads to use. But if there's anything you want to know about that, then pop a question or your comments in the comment section down below. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Mrs_Blaze. If you enjoy watching my videos, subscribe, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful week, because it's Monday, so I hope you have a wonderful week. And also, if there's anything that you want me to add in a future video, if there's any future videos you want me to do, or if you have any tips or tricks for viewers to do with cramps or anything like that, or how to get out of an embarrassing situation when it comes to periods, post those in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and if you didn't, then I'm sorry. And please share this video if you know someone that is a bit prudish about periods, because I think it might make it a bit more casual for them, which is my goal, to make periods casual, not to be ashamed of or anything like that. Just periods should be like, it should be as normal to talk about periods as it is to talk about chicken nuggets. So yeah, basically. Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it now. I never know how to end these things. Like, Anyway, yeah, I hope that's been as helpful as I intended it to be. If you have anything to add, comment below. See you later. Bye.